They can throw the district race into a three-way tie, looking for a coin toss. One of the three teams would have to stay at home. If, however, they lose, they're out. It's over. They're done. They're finished. It's, you know, Permian's in and Midland High is there. There's really an outside chance, of course, that the Lee and Midland High could end up tied. But for effect, if Midland Lee loses tonight, then their season, for most sake, is about over. The rivalry is enormous in this game. It's two very good football teams, but even if they weren't good football teams, it would be a great game simply because they like to play each other.
Now, Permian, a 21-point pick, but few experts really think the game will be decided by 21 points. It should be a close ball game.
It was decided by 21 last year, but it was the other way around. These games have had a history of being not really real close ball games. They have been one side winning or the other side winning, but it hasn't been a real close battles usually.
So it's the Rebels and the Panthers. We'll check the starting lineups. Be back with more of our pregame report in a moment after this word from Western National Bank. Kurt Kaiser and Don Scott back at Ratliff Stadium. Let's check the starting lineups. First for the Permian Panthers, here's how the lineup on offense tonight. Starting out with Mike Winchell, the senior quarterback. Winchell starting last year as a junior, back this year and having an outstanding senior year, 4 touchdown passes last week. Chris Comer, the junior fullback, who has rushed for 100 yards in all but 2 games this year, comes in as the leading rusher in District 4-5A. Don Billingsley, a tailback, has also had another great year for the Permian Panthers. Lloyd Hill leading the district in catches, in fact more than doubling the man in second place in 4-5A. Robert Brown, who had 3 of those 4 touchdown passes. We talked about Mike Winchell throwing last week in the ball game. Robert Brown at the flanker slot. Jared McDougal will open up a tackle tonight as we check out the line play. It is Jeff Garrett at guard. In the center spot, big Clint Duncan will anchor it down in the middle for Permian. Chris Sanford will be at the other guard position. It is Ronnie Beavers at the other tackle. Brian Chavez, one of the Permian captains, and he'll open up at tight end tonight. And the Panthers coached by Gary Gaines. His 3rd season with the Panthers. He has yet to beat the Lee Rebels, which he is hoping to do tonight as coach of the Panthers.
But he's going to be facing a very tough Lee team. A representative of that Lee defense is Brad Hanlon, who is the defensive end. He's a 180-pound, 5'11" senior. Defensive tackle on that side, Sid Harper. He's 6 foot, 200 pounds. The defensive tackle, the other 2 technique or defensive tackle is a Charles Ellis at 6 foot, 185 pounds, a senior. The other defensive end, Steve Ruckman, 5'11", 170-pound junior. Linebackers, a good trio of linebackers. Benny Jones, 5'10", 180-pound junior, and anchored in the middle by Mike Pearson, 6'1", 195-pound senior, and he is a good one. Gabe Vasquez at 5'10", 175-pound senior is the other linebacker. The cornerbacks for Midland Lee, Kyle Greeley, a 5'9", 165-pound senior, and Calvin Jackson, a 5'10", 165-pound senior. At the safeties, LaQuarrie Scott at 5'9", 155-pound senior with lots of speed, and a really good one at the other safety, James Brown, a 6'1", 195-pound senior, and he's got speed to burn. Coach Earl Miller, of course, has been around Midland Lee now for some time, and he really gets into these games.
20,000 fans will be at Ratliff Stadium to witness this one, the renewal of the great rivalry between the Permian Panthers and the Lee Rebels. Stay tuned. We'll have all the play-by-play action coming up next. Our pregame report has been brought to you tonight by Western National Bank.
Has won the toss, no? Yes, Lee is going to kick off. They want to put their defense out there first. Little psychological warfare perhaps starting already in this ball game, but this is going to be a very good one. Both ball clubs are very high psyched up. Both clubs are really ready to play. And one thing about it, Kurt, at this point, both ball clubs are pretty healthy.
Definitely. They do come into the game healthy. Permian has had players that have missed earlier on, such as James Miles, who has now returned to the lineup in limited capacity. The Rebels come in very healthy. No major injuries in their ball club. We look at the series beginning back in 1961. Permian leads the overall series 22-7. 4 of Lee's wins have come since 1983. Of course, they beat the Panthers twice back in 83 and then won each in 86 and 87. So Lee has a 2-game winning streak as they enter this game tonight. In 83, Lee won both of them, 20-7 during the regular season, 20-0 during the playoffs, the only time that Lee has shut out Permian. In '84, Permian won it 28-13 in the regular season, and then 15-14 in the playoffs. Of course, the last 2 years, it has been Earl Miller's Rebels that have come out on top, 24-14 in '86. Last year, a 42-21 game right here at Ratliff Stadium. And the Rebels, the defending champions of District 4 5A. Here come the Permian Panthers onto the field at Ratliff Stadium. And
here
the Lee
come the Lee
Rebels.
Rebels. Yes, sir. Lots of people are still coming into the game. We can see quite a few headlights out on the road. The far side of the stands, the Midland Lee stands that we're looking at, not quite as full as perhaps we had anticipated earlier, but a very, very good crowd on hand. And this ought to be a great football game.
Don, one of the big differences for the Rebels this year, as opposed to the last couple of years, or really you just look back to '87, and you see the difference being turnovers. In '87, after 9 games, Lee was plus 21 in turnovers. In 1988, after 7 games, they are minus 3. They're 14 fumbles lost, second highest to Cooper in district play. The Rebels, of course, copying the ball up against Midland, which was one of the main reasons they lost to the Bulldogs in their first district game of the year, and that's one area that Earl Miller wants to cut down on tonight.
That and the fact that 2 weeks ago against San Angelo, Earl Miller kind of unveiled the eye-bone type of offense, and that has made a major change. He changed some personnel in the line, he changed some personnel in the backfield, and this ball club has played much, much better the last 2 weeks than they did before that. So it could be a very, very good football game tonight. But regardless of the record coming into this, these two schools, like I said before, it's not a matter that they so much they hate each other, they just like to play each other.
Definitely.
If they could play each other 10 times a year, I think they'd be happy.
Well, I don't know if we can handle it, though. The fans really get into this ball game as well, and we're just about ready to start it off right now, as it'll be Adrian Villa dropping deep for the Panthers, along with Robert Brown back at their own 5-yard line, and it'll be Midland Lee ready to kick it off to the Panthers, and doing the kicking is Arthur Donnelly. Donnelly, the last time he was at Ratliff Stadium, along with his Rebel teammates, kicked the winning field goal against Odessa High, when the Rebels beat Odessa 10-7. He now gets ready to kick it down to the Panthers, and the Lee-Permian rivalry is resumed. A low kick will bounce, be taken to the 25-yard line. That's Brian Johnson. Johnson to the 36-yard line, where he is brought down to the turf. So that's where the Panthers will begin it offensively.
And that was Michael Wyatt that was in there as one of the tacklers for the Lee Rebels as he got downfield in a hurry to make that stop on a short kickoff. Watch the run back here as he comes back up the field. Little juke step in there. Number 43 is actually the first one to get him, and then the other man was on the bottom of the stack.
So the Panthers will open it up with Mike Winchell at quarterback. 1st and 10 from their own 36-yard line. As Winchell has Brown wide to the right side. Chavez tight on the right. Back split behind him. To keep it on the ground to Chris Comer. Comer, his first carry of the night, will dive ahead for 2 yards. Comer coming into the ball game tonight, a chance to go over the 1,000-yard mark, as he will begin the evening with 944 yards. And for Lee, Ferris Strambley needing 93 to go over 1,000.
Right. That was just a toss pitch that time. And very quickly up there was James Brown, along with the defensive end on that side, which is Ruckman, and they were both in there to make the stop for about a 1-yard gain.
We'll call it 2nd and 8. Second play coming up for the Panthers from their own 38-yard line. Brown to the left. Pitch coming back now to Lloyd Hill, who is in the backfield, and Hill breaks it for a first down as it gets near midfield, pushed out of bounds just shy of the 49-yard line. Nice run out of the backfield by Lloyd Hill, who you normally see catching the passes. That time just catching the flip from quarterback Mike Winchell.
And that was Vince Henderson who came up to make the stop that time. Number 11, Vince Henderson, doing a good job to get him out of bounds. Lloyd Hill had some room to run, and Vince Henderson was really he was truly a safety that time.
This time in the backfield, it is Comer along with Don Billingsley as Brown goes wide to the right side. Hill is tight on the left, putting it right up the middle. Good running room for Chris Comer, who almost breaks it. Nice defensive play by the Rebels right there as they come up with it. It was Vince Henderson once again that stopped Chris Comer.
Watch this play here. Some great block, a lead block into the line, but was what really broke him loose. Then Comer simply waiting over people, and he is very, very close to that first down yardage. Have to see. It looks like from up here that he made it. I'm going to say he made it.
Okay, this is the first prediction of the night, right?
First prediction, only prediction of the night. No prediction on scores.
We'll see if that prediction's right.
Okay.
Clock will stop with 11:01 to go in the first
made it
quarter.
by the length of the football. What did I tell you? Nothing to it.
No problem. It is a first down. So Comer 2 carries for 12 yards. Again, he needs 56 yards to go over the 1,000-yard mark for the season. The ball is right at the Rebels' 41-yard line, so the clock will start under the 11-minute mark. This time it is Hill and Brown going wide to the right side. Chavez is tight on the left. Mike Winchell gets it back now to Chris Comer. Comer, trying to get outside, will be pushed out of bounds as he will pick up maybe a yard. Mike Pearson, middle linebacker for Midland Lee, pushing him out.
Okay, let's watch it here. This play was broke down by penetration into the backfield. Comer had to circle too deep to get anywhere, and actually the first man up there to make contact with him was Wyatt, Mike Wyatt, as he came up and made contact, and then Pearson came to finish him off. But penetration from the defensive end and the linebacker on the outside that time is what caused that play to break down.
Panthers have not thrown the ball yet. Brown and Hill wide to the right side. They don't throw it now, as they will give it up the middle to Chris Comer. Short pickup, and the Panthers faced with third down for the first time tonight. It'll be 3rd and long.
Mike Pearson once again on the stop this time as the premier middle linebacker for Midland Lee is doing a very good job to start off with. Third and long. Long third.
Panthers started the drive from their own 36-yard line. They moved it down to the Rebels' 38-yard line. Brown will go to the right. Hill will go to the left. Panthers still looking for their first pass of the night. Movement along the line. Flags will fly. And we'll check out the yellow marker.
It was a movement. One of the offensive linemen picked up his hand, the tackle on the line, I believe, or maybe it was the guard, and picked up his hand and moved back. Little movement there. People are a little bit anxious. Nerves are pretty tight among these kids for this ball game.
Well, really, as you look at it from the Panther perspective, it's the first big game that they've had in a while. They've been heavily favored in every other district contest they've entered.
Well, and there's so much at stake in this ball game. Odessa Permian understands very plainly that if they win this ball game, they're in the playoffs. That's it, period. No matter what happens to anyone else. If they lose this ball game, they have a chance of being all the way out of the playoffs, simply because if they lose, it'll be a 3-way tie, and that goes to coin toss, and that's dangerous.
5-yard mark-off makes it 3rd and 12. Back to the 43-yard line. On the delay, Chris Comer has the football. Comer breaks through. Comer will have the first down inside the 30. Comer is still going down to the 21-yard line. Nice run by Chris Comer.
And that's Vince Henderson once again in there to make the stop, as Comer does a great job of broken field running. Watch that lead block right there on the linebacker. That's what broke him loose. Then he does a great job of moving there. He escapes a tackle there. A good move again. Escapes another tackle. Bounces off of one of his own people, and finally gets all the way down to about the 21-yard line, where there is a flag on the play.
But I'm not sure. The flag going against the Rebels.
Flag going against the Rebels, and I'm not sure what it was called for.
So Chris Comer has carried the ball 4 times in his opening series. 22-yard pickup right there.
Personal foul called, and that really hurts when you're down now, the ball down on the 10-yard line, actually about the 10.5-yard line. They could pick up a first down on about the 6-inch line, but that hurts.
1st and 10 at the 10. Permian's opening drive. 9.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. No score yet. Mike Winchell gets it back to Comer. Comer inside the 10 to the 5, inside the 5, down at the 3.5-yard line.
That's Henderson one more time. Vince Henderson is making a lot of stops. And for a man that's playing safety, that's not, I'm sure, what Coach Earl Miller wants him to be doing. He wants him to make stops, but he'd like for somebody to get there first. Does a good job of hitting Comer down low and bringing him down on about the 4-yard line. Call it 2nd and 4 for a touchdown, 2nd and 3.5 for a first down.
Chris Comer unofficially has carried the ball 43 yards in this opening drive. Don Billingsley has it now inside the 5 and into the end zone. That's a mojo touchdown for Don Billingsley.
Okay, there's some real good counter action that time. They had been pounding and pounding and pounding with Comer, and watch Comer take the fake there, and a lot of people look at him, and then Billingsley goes over the counter hole on the other side takes it into the end zone for the touchdown. And this is what Midland Lee's worst fears were made of, is they don't want Permian to get out front in a hurry. But they did a great job of driving the football that time.
Alan Wiles has missed only 3 of 45 extra points. He doesn't miss that one. Now it's 3 of 46 as the Panthers have broken on top. 8:53 to go in the first quarter. The Permian Panthers lead the Lee Rebels 7-0. This is a JR Productions Sports Special.
Okay, let's take another look at this. I think maybe Odessa Permian got off with a little bit of luck that time, because it looked like a couple of linemen moved as they were starting that play, but they were not called on it, and perhaps the snap had already come. It's difficult to tell, but they were certainly off the ball in a hurry.
That drive for the Permian Panthers, 64 yards, 8 plays. It took them 3 minutes and 2 seconds. The workhorse was Chris Comer, who carried the ball for 43 yards. It was Don Billingsley with his first carry of the night, putting it in for the touchdown. Billingsley on the 3-yard run, and for Don Billingsley, his 8th touchdown of the year. Low kick will be taken by the Rebels, and they'll return it back to the 41-yard line.
Both ball clubs using a squib kick here. Actually, a Midland Lee lineman had to duck to keep that ball from hitting him. Went up to a very short man, so Midland Lee takes over with very good position. Watch the lineman right there. He ducks to let it go over his head. Goes to a very short up man there, and then comes in. Good coverage downfield. Of course, it wasn't very far downfield. So Lee, with very, very good field position, comes out in the bone.
There you see Coach Larry Curry for the Panthers diagramming some plays on the sidelines as Vince Henderson opened up at quarterback. First man with the football will go right up the middle. It is Jason Fletcher, David Whiteside, Ferris Strambler, Ty Chambers in there, who was the one that carried the ball the first time.
Ty Chambers working at quarterback, hands the ball off there, and he comes up with the typical wishbone fullback first option off of the triple option, and he picks up about 3 yards on the carry.
2nd and 6, 8:20 to go. The ball at the 44-yard line. Now Henderson flips it left side with running room for Ferris Strambler as he picks up a first down and more, taking it into Permian territory.
Strambler does a great job there, and I'm not sure who it is that he runs over out there. I've got to watch this one more time. But watch as he comes up, and he gets hit right here. Wham! Really gets hit, and that's Hill, Lloyd Hill, that he just flat ran over, knocked Hill to the ground, and made another 5 yards after he hit Hill.
Felipe Davila finally forced him out. A 14-yard pickup by Strambler. 1st and 10 Rebels at the 42-yard line for Permian. Under the 8-minute mark. Movement along the line.
Both ball clubs having a little bit of problems early here in the ball game because everybody's a little bit anxious. They want to get off on the snap. I'm sure the coaches have told them all week long, you know, you got to get off on the snap. You got to get off on the snap. And they're a little anxious about it. Lee,
the 5-yard penalty, their second penalty tonight, now 2 for 15. Strambler coming in 907 yards. He picked up 14 on that first carry. Again, he'll be trying to go over the 1,000-yard mark tonight. 1st and 15. Back to the 47-yard line. Up the middle one more time as Chambers handed it off. Very little running room. Ivory Christian, middle linebacker, in there for the stop.
I believe that was Jason Fletcher, or maybe it was Quincy White. It was Quincy White is the ball carrier there, and he wallows in there for a loss on the play, actually. Or actually, he picked up about 2 yards on the play. Forgot about the penalty there. I'm not excited.
2nd and 13 from the 45-yard line. Coming down on the 7-minute mark. Fake handoff. Now the pitch. Outside. Running room for the Rebels down to the 31-yard line. David Whiteside, the ball carrier for Lee.
And Lloyd Hill makes the stop finally quite a ways downfield. This is the triple option. There's the first option. He comes out here. He options the end, decides to pitch the ball, lays it out there, and Whiteside comes up, motoring up the field, and Lloyd Hill finally gets him over on the sideline, hems him in, puts him out of bounds, but not until he's picked up another first down. Both ball clubs moving the ball very well offensively. Neither defense able to contain yet.
Strambler with the ball inside the 30-yard line. Ferris Strambler brought down by Billy Steen.
Okay, that was just the old USC toss pitch. Just the quick toss pitch back to the trailing halfback, and he comes right up through the field and picks up the 3-4 yards.
The clock continues to move, coming down on the 6.5-minute mark. 2nd and 6. The ball at the 26-yard line. Oliver goes out wide to the left side. They keep it on the ground to Strambler, who evades 3 tackles, but is finally brought down on the outside by Chad Payne. No, instead it was Stan Wilkins that brought him to the turf.
And that's the counter off of the wishbone that is so effective. Inside handoff coming back the other way. And 21, Stan Wilkins is in there on the stop. And number 12, Robert Brown is in there also, I believe.
It's 3rd and 3. You see it now at the 23-yard line. The first 3rd down the Rebels have been faced with. They started this drive from their own 40-yard line. Permian leading 7-0. The Rebels trying to match that touchdown with their first offensive series. Receivers wide right and wide left. Movement by the Rebel offense. Up the middle. And Lee very, very close to a first down. They needed to get inside the 21-yard line, about the 20.5 as David Whiteside carried it. Billy Steen, Felipe Davila, Ivory Christian in the middle of that Permian defense for the stop.
Ivory Christian, I believe, led the charge on the tackle there, but that's pure power football that time. And that's exactly what Midland Lee has done over the years and been successful with doing against Permian. Permian is known, and they live off of their quickness and their speed. Midland Lee says you run straight at them. And they got a first down by Ouimos. Just
Ouimos, I like that.
Ouimos.
The ball is just shy of the 20-yard line. First down for the Rebels.
But you know what? Ouimos is just as good as a whoop.
That's right. Doesn't matter how you get it as long as you put it in. 5:20 and counting down. Receivers to the right and the left. Quincy White tight on the left side. Strambler gets the football and is brought down in the backfield. Outstanding defensive play by who? Let's see who got it. He was so quick I couldn't see who it was.
I think it's Billy Steen that comes in through there. I'm not sure. No, it's not. It's David Fierro.
Greg Sweat.
Greg Sweat?
Greg Sweat.
We'll take Greg Sweat.
Greg Sweat coming out of the linebacker.
I can see a 3.
Big play man that time. It was Greg Sweat, number 38. Loss of 4, making it 2nd and 14. Back to the 24-yard line. The pass across the middle, completed to Quincy White. He's down to the 10-yard line.
That's enough for a first down. I believe, yes, where they're marking, it's definitely a first down. He made it by about a half a yard. So it'll be 1st and goal to go from just square dab on inside, just inside the 10-yard line. So great job with a quick slant pass that time. Lee shifted from their wishbone to a power formation with 2 tight ends. Quincy White moving up.
So the first pass of the night is a good one for the Rebels. 1st and 10 from the 10. Strambler caught, brought down, hit, and down for a 4, maybe 5-yard loss. Stan Wilkins making the big play.
This is the big challenge coming right here, and Stan Wilkins meets it very well that time as he came up and dropped him for almost a full 5-yard loss, giving him a 4-yard loss on the play. Sets it up as 2nd and goal to go from about the 14-yard line.
Under the 4-minute mark, the Rebels threatening. Keeping it on the ground, Ty Chambers is brought down as he kept the ball on the option. It was Ivory Christian and Robert Brown.
Right, Ivory Christian and Robert Brown up in there to make it, and a great play made out here by the outside man out there that time. That was Gotti Dean as he came up and cut down the interference, which made it possible for everyone else to get tackled.
3rd and goal from the 12. Henderson in there at quarterback. Receiver wide to the left side. Strambler split off to the right. The pitch comes back. That's Whiteside. Whiteside at the 5 and into the end zone for David Whiteside. The Rebels have scored.
Great running this time by Mr. Whiteside and a very good execution of the option play. This time it's Henderson in there with the option play as he comes out and reads it perfect. Pitch is late, and the outside man actually took the wrong man on the pitch. They had 2 men pulling. He took the deep man. The pitch went to the up man, and he goes into the end zone, make it 7-6. And now it's time to make 7s out of 6s.
Try for the point after by Arthur Donnelly, who has not missed an extra point this year. He is 20 out of 20. The snap back, the ball down, and that kick is no good, but there is a flag that will fly.
It is good.
No, it is good. All right, there's a flag that flew. Apparently going against the Rebels, or against the Panthers, and so the kick is good. And with 2 minutes and 57 seconds left to go in the first quarter of play, we're all tied. 7-7 with the Panthers and the Rebels.
We told people this could be a barn burner, and that's what I think we've got on our hands. It was an offside penalty against the Odessa Permian Panthers, and they will be marked that off against them on the kickoff. See if they still try to squib kick it this time.
That scoring drive for the Panthers, and we'll see the touchdown one more time, or the scoring drive for the Rebels, that is. 12 plays, 60 yards,
watch
taking
this.
them 5 minutes, 51 seconds.
But watch the outside man take the deep man, and they pitch to the lead man, who is normally the blocker. They normally pitch to the deep man, but that time they pitched to the up man, and it simply fooled the cornerback on that side.
David Whiteside, the 12-yard touchdown run, and for David, his 6th TD of the year. He came in with 320 yards. He adds to that total of yardage and also adds to the points. So both offensive units score on their first series.
That's an impressive drive. Both of them, the drive's almost exactly the same length. Permian started on the 36, Lee started on the 40, and both of them drive the ball straight down the field and put it in the end zone.
Donnelly ready to kick it off. There's a long, high, deep kick, end over end, bounces in the end zone. And the Panthers will start from the 20-yard line as Robert Brown watched it go way over his head. Nice kick by Arthur Donnelly.
I think that kick's going to stop somewhere about Crane. It just kept rolling and rolling and rolling. It's clear on the other side of the track down there. First time you squib kick, the next time you kick it out of the end zone. It's changing up your format.
First and 10 Panthers from the 20-yard line. There's 2 minutes and 57 seconds to go in the first quarter, as you saw. All tied up at 7. As Clint Duncan comes up, ready to get the ball back to Mike Winchell. Hill and Brown come out wide to the left side. Comer and Billingsley in the backfield. Winchell gets it to Billingsley, who hurdles over the 20-yard line. Will be brought down at around the 24.
Number 26.
So Billingsley with a 4-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd and 6 for the Panthers.
Benny Jones was one of those that was in there to make the stop that time, and several others. Pearson in there, Benny Jones, both of those linebackers on that side. That was once again just a counter play.
The Panthers yet to go to the air. Hill and Brown again wide to the right side. 2nd and 6 from the 24-yard line. Winchell gets the ball back to Billingsley, who will be brought down at the 25. About a 1-yard pickup for Don Billingsley. So it'll be 3rd and 5 facing Permian.
56 near Charles Ellis is one of them that makes the tackle. I believe he's the first one to get stop on him, and then comes up Mike Wyatt also in there to make the stop. Good line play that time by Charles Ellis on the inside as he shucked off a blocker and stood his ground.
Panthers need to make it to the 30-yard line for first down as the ball is just over their own 25-yard line. Permian keeping it on the ground to Robert Brown, and Brown will have the first down with a nice move to the 35 to the 40, looking for the end zone, or not the end zone, but the boundary line, brought down by Vince Henderson, and the Panthers have a first down.
Also Pearson out there to help out on this stop, but this is some neat running this time. Watch Brown, watch that cut right there, and a good block that he got on the outside, and he makes another good cut right here and picks up about another 4 or 5 yards because of it. And Vince Henderson got in there to bring him down to the turf.
So it's 1st and 10 Permian from their own 44-yard line. A minute and a half to go in the first quarter, tied at 7. Winchell sets them down. Gets it back to Comer, who fumbles on the play, and looks like the Rebels will have it.
Yes, sir. Midland Lee comes up with the football on about the 43-yard line, and I believe it's Sid Harper who is going to make the recovery on the fumble. Watch it in here. Just a bad toss. It actually hit him in the belly, but bounced off. He never got a hold of the ball, and you're right there, number 68, I think, got under the bottom and came up with the football.
So the Rebels will try to take advantage of a Permian mistake. First and 10 from the 43-yard line with 1:11 left in the first quarter. Chambers at quarterback. Wishbone behind him. First man gets the ball is Jason Fletcher. Fletcher brought down by Brian Johnson.
Brian Johnson did a good job that time out there as a defensive end slot as he holds off the battle outside and falls back inside to make the stop. That's Davila also in there to help out on it. Or Fierro, pardon me. David Fierro, I'm sorry. Number 30.
Pickup of 3 yards will make it 2nd and 7 at the 40-yard line. 45 seconds and counting down. Henderson at quarterback. Up the middle to Quincy White. White with running room at the 30. White looking for the end zone, and he'll be tripped up as he gets down. Cotty Dean did the job down to the 9-yard line, though, for Quincy White.
Quincy White, of course, is the man that Coach Miller put into this backfield a couple of weeks ago, and boy, does he do a job of running with the football here. Big, powerful strides as he's just going downfield. Cotty Dean just sweeps an ankle out from under him, and that's all in the world that saved that from going into the end zone. But it sets it up 1st and goal to go on about the 8.5-yard line.
Final seconds of the first quarter as the Rebels threaten to take the lead. Up the middle. Pickup of 2, maybe 3 yards.
Number 31, Chad Payne, was the first one to make contact. He made contact about 2 yards deep in the backfield and cut his legs. He still gets on into there a ways before he goes down all the way. David, good job that time.
David Whiteside, the ball carrier. And that'll be the last play of the first quarter as Coach Tam Hollingshead calls the signals from the sidelines. We've completed one from Ratliff Stadium in the 1988 edition of the Permian-Lee rivalry. And right now we're tied at 7 with the Rebels threatening. 7-7 after 1. This is the JR Productions Sports Special. Ready for the second quarter to get underway, and the Rebels will begin it with an outstanding opportunity to take the lead in this ball game, which would be the first time the Panthers had trailed in a game since Marshall.
And they lost that one.
They lost that one 13-12. And the Rebels would like to hand the Panthers their second loss of the season, as Quincy White urges the crowd on to get behind his team, which they are doing. They don't need a whole lot of urging right now. It's 2nd and goal for the Rebels.
It's getting noisy in this stadium. Both sides are letting some sound come down on the field.
The Rebels will have it at the 6-yard line.
Big play.
It was Ferris Strambler that got the ball. He'll be down at the 5-yard line. It was Felipe Davila.
Felipe Davila does a great job of knifing in and cutting his legs out from under him, dropping him on about the 5. Make it 3rd down and goal to goal, this time from the 5-yard line. This is a huge play for Midland Lee.
3rd and 5 as Ty Chambers brings the play in, and he'll stay at quarterback. Wishbone behind him. Receivers wide right, wide left. Now they shift. Strambler in the backfield, and Strambler gets the ball. Strambler inside the 5, down at the 2-yard line. Strambler short of the goal line. Now the Rebels
31 is Chad Payne, was one of those that was in there on that tackle very quickly, and I'm not sure who else comes in there quick, but somebody. Cotty Dean comes in there, and also number 44, and that's Brian Johnson, also did a great job of stopping that short of the goal line. Tough decision at this point for Coach Miller. He's got a field goal kicker who is really good. Got a timeout on the field to think about it. He's got a good field goal kicker. It's a cinch 3 points, but I think he's going to go for the 7.
Let's see how unusual it is for Permian to give up points in district play. Coming into the ball game tonight, Permian, their defense, giving up just 21 points. And total. That's an average of 5.2. That is total, the entire district schedule. So an average of 5.2 per game. Lee has already exceeded the average and are threatening to go well over that. The Lee defense giving up 64 points, an average of 9.1. So both of the defensive units have performed very, very well this year.
And they are lining up for the field goal. I think Coach Miller has decided he wants to go for the cinch 3. He can read this as a tough ball game. Of course, they could always fake it.
Arthur Donnelly has kicked field goals against El Paso Andrus, a 28-yarder, and the game winner, as we mentioned earlier, against Odessa High, which was some 36 yards. They spot the ball at the 13-yard line, so a 23-yard attempt for Arthur Donnelly. The snap back, ball down, the kick is through the uprights, and the Rebels have the lead. 23-yard field goal by Arthur Donnelly, and the Lee Rebels have taken the lead over the Permian Panthers.
Odessa Permian escaped rather fortunately that time. They gave up the ball deep in their own territory on a miscue, on a fumble. Lee quickly drove it downfield, but they got 3 out of it. And in a tight ball game, that 3 could make a major, major difference.
So the Panthers will send their offensive unit back out there. Permian's offense scoring in their first series. Lee's offense scoring in their first series. Permian fumbling. Lee taking advantage of it, taking it into the end zone. That scoring drive started at the 43-yard line for the Rebels. 5 plays setting up the field goal. They started with 1:11 left in the first quarter and ended with 11:01 to go, so a drive of 2:10, 2 minutes and 10 seconds. So Arthur Donnelly has kicked 2 of his 3 field goals this year right here at Ratliff Stadium, 1 against the Broncos and tonight against the Panthers.
Likes to kick off this AstroTurf.
And here's his kick, which will be a floater bouncing at the 16-yard line. Robert Brown comes up with it at the 10. Will bring it back for the Panthers across the 20, down to around the 23-yard line. Good coverage by the Rebels.
Everyone stayed in their lanes that time, simply came down and put a pretty good hit on him, stopped him pretty cold down there on about the 23-yard line where the Permian offense will set up shop.
Pretty cold. We hadn't mentioned that yet. It is starting to get just a little nippy. For the first time all year, we have football weather.
Right. Well, football weather is when you play football, but this is more atypical.
Oh, very clever. 1st and 10 from the 23-yard line. 10:55 to go in the first half. Winchell gives it back to Lloyd Hill. Out of the backfield again. Hill, nice move across the 25-yard line. Picks up about 5 yards.
I think both coaches are very, very much determined that they must establish a strong running presence in this ball game. Permian's experienced a great deal of success this year throwing the football, but tonight they're running the football. And of course the Lee Rebels, that's their bread and butter anyway, but this has been a real grinding football game. Been watching pretty close on that offensive defensive line. Nobody's taken dominance yet.
5-yard pickup by Hill. It'll be 2nd and 5 from the 28. Winchell up the middle to Chris Comer. Comer a first down as he bursts across the 30 down to around the 34, maybe 35-yard line.
Mike Pearson makes the stop there on this as Chris Comer, and a very good block right here on the guard gets a good block in there. Number 68 for Permian, I believe it was, that got the block. No, 66, Jeff Garrett. Got a good block that time in there that cleared the way for Comer downfield.
1st and 10. At the 35-yard line. Robert Brown comes wide to the right. It's Lloyd Hill on the left. Winchell with a long count. Gives the ball back now to Don Billingsley. Billingsley running room. Billingsley into Rebel territory, down inside the 45-yard line. Nice run by Don Billingsley.
Henderson's the one that came up in there and made the stop, along with Michael Wyatt also in there to make the stop, and Vince Henderson. Good running job this time by Billingsley as he's kind of coasting along, following his blocks, does a good job. Wyatt gets a hold of him first, and then Henderson comes in to finish it off. Nice big gain for Billingsley.
21-yard pickup for Don Billingsley as Hill goes wide to the left. Brown split on the right as you see Mike Winchell. Winchell on the delay to Comer down to the 40-yard line. Quick pickup of 3, maybe 4 yards by Chris Comer. Comer is getting very near that 1,000-yard mark.
Number 38 in there to make the tackle that time, and that's Blaine McAnally. Good block that time by Clint Duncan as he blocked down hard on the nose man that time and opened a little bit of a path.
Under the 9-minute mark. 4-yard pickup makes it 2nd and 6 at the 39. Winchell to Comer up the middle. First down for Chris Comer. And the Panther offense on the move once again.
And that time was Reagan Young that got in there to make the stop that time. And once again, that was a block by Clint Duncan that made that possible. Clint Duncan is really plowing the man in front of him and cracking a pretty good hole for Comer to run through.
A 7-yard pickup by Comer. So unofficially, Comer has just gone over the 1,000-yard barrier. 1st and 10 at the 32. Short pickup by the Panthers that time.
Pearson in there is the first man to make the stop. Very short pickup on the play. That'll give him about 2.5 yards. It came out a little better than perhaps I thought it was going to be.
That's one thing we haven't talked about yet, Don. You mentioned Mike Pearson, Ivory Christian, middle linebacker for the Panthers, 2 of the premier middle linebackers in 4-5A.
Both of them do a great job in there. Very, very hard-hitting young men who play that middle spot very well.
2-yard pickup takes the ball to the 30. We're at 2nd and 8 under the 8-minute mark. Permian trailing 10-7, trying to regain the lead in the ball game. Comer down to the 20, inside the 20, dives to the 16-yard line. Chris Comer.
I don't know what Mike Winchell is picking up, but Mike Winchell is checking off up there, and every time he checks off, he goes to this little toss pitch, and it's either to Billingsley or to Comer, and this time Comer gets the big yardage, but he's picking up something in the lead defense that's keying that play, and I don't know what it is.
So the Panthers have it 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line. Winchell has Hill to the right. Brown split on the left. Winchell up the middle to Comer inside the 15-yard line for a short pickup as Mike Pearson brought him down.
Okay, that time it was just simply the base play back through the center. That's the Permian Panthers equivalent of the base play off of the wishbone, the fullback up the gut play, and Comer running hard, grinding out a few yards there. A little bit of tension on some young ladies' faces on the sidelines already.
3-yard pickup makes it 2nd and 7 at the 12, under the 7-minute mark. Receivers wide right, wide left, split behind Mike Winchell. Winchell to Comer. Comer at the 10, the 5, and into the end zone. That's a mojo touchdown for Chris Comer.
Once again, it's the toss play, and it's something that's happening out here. Somebody on this end of the Midland lead defense is doing something. They're either playing it inside. Billingsley got a great block that time to clear the way and seal the people into the inside. And I'm not sure what the key is, but Winchell has figured out something, or the coaching staff has, probably off of the film, and he is checking off on that play. And when he does, they're making yardage on the toss.
The point after by Alan Wiles is good. And so with 6 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in the first half, the Panthers have regained the lead. Permian leading the Lee Rebels 14-10. This is a JR Production Sports Special.
Let's take one more look at the touchdown this time, and it's once again that little toss play. Watch Billingsley's block right there on the corner. Brings him down, clears the way on the outside, and he does a great job simply running off and leaving people. Hits him down on about the 4-yard line, walks out of that tackle by Henderson, and walks on into the end zone. Chris Comer, the young man that is the substitute fullback, not bad, a little over 1,000 yards rushing for the year, not bad for a sub.
We'll look back at the other 1,000-yard gainers in Permian history in a moment. 4:15 the drive took the Panthers to go 67 yards, 9 plays. Chris Comer, the 12-yard touchdown run to give Permian the 14-10 lead. There's the kick by Robert Brown. Line drive, end over end. Goes through Strambler's hands into the end zone, out of the end zone, and it'll be a touchback. Looking at past 100 or 1,000-yard gainers, the first one to do it for Permian was Mike Love back in '62. Of course, last year, Sean Crow and James Miles both went over the 1,000-yard mark, and Chris Comer has joined a group of 12 Panthers now that have gone over 1,000 yards.
Okay, some pretty good ball players in that bunch.
One of them, an assistant coach now with Permian, Mike Ballou, on the sidelines. He did it back in 1973. First and 10 Permian from their own, or first and 10 Lee from their own 20-yard line. Strambler the ball. Strambler hit hard.
Ivory Christian really put a lick on him. Somebody else in the middle in there. Ivory Christian was the main one, though. Watch this as he comes across, and the hole he wants is sealed up. So he tries to cut it outside a little bit more. And when he does, Mr. Christian says, hello. Ooh, good hit.
1-yard pickup. 2nd and 9 as Coach Larry Curry diagramming plays again on the sidelines. Has his offense around him as the defense is out there now. 2nd and 9 from the 21 under the 6-minute mark. Quincy White gets the football. There's a fumble on the play, and the Panthers have it.
That fumble was created by Ivory Christian putting his helmet on the ball, and it was Billy Steen that got down on top of the football. But Ivory Christian tackles him, hits his head right square dab on the football, and knocks it out of his hands. Watch it close here as he comes into the line. He's got the, oh, he never did get the football. Simply never did get the football on the exchange there. That's one of the dangers of the wishbone, because that fullback doesn't know whether or not he's supposed to have the football. Quarterback tried to give it to him. He didn't take it, and that's a big turnover.
Permian now trying to take advantage of a Lee mistake. First and 10 at the 23 of the Rebels. Winchell to throw for the first time tonight. Sprints to the right, being pressured. Can't find anyone. He'll run with the ball, and Winchell will get back maybe to the original line of scrimmage as Mike Pearson finally brought him down. Good pursuit by the Rebels, and Winchell did the best he could to avoid a big loss.
Watch this. He's all over the backfield here, and a lot of pressure. Good block right there by the back, but the man comes immediately off of the ground and comes back up. Winchell gets out here still looking for somebody down there. Nobody around. Decides to run with the football. Gets it back almost to the line of scrimmage. Give him a yard loss on the play, but a great deal of effort, but an excellent defensive coverage. And Permian takes a timeout to talk things over.
Tonight we're enjoying high school football on Channel 7, and on Sunday we will enjoy NFL football, or hopefully we'll enjoy NFL football at 12 noon with the Phoenix Cardinals and the Dallas Cowboys kicking off the first of our NFL doubleheader. And then at 3 o'clock it'll be the Minnesota Vikings and the San Francisco 49ers.
And that ought to be a good ball game.
A couple of good ones there for us. San Francisco looking for revenge after Minnesota knocked them out of the playoffs last year.
Rather convincingly.
And that's something that Permian is looking for, a little revenge, as Lee beat Permian last year 42-21 on their way to a District 4 5A championship. You see the band get ready to come down, and we'll show you the bands at halftime. 2-yard loss in the last play makes it 2nd and 12. Ball's at the 24-yard line. After the Permian timeout, both teams 2 timeouts remaining. Brown goes to the left. Hill tied on the right. Back split behind quarterback Mike Winchell. Winchell with a long count. Flips it back to Don Billingsley. Billingsley will be pushed ahead inside the 20, down to about the 19-yard line.
Okay, Lee that time makes an adjustment here, and I want you to watch this adjustment. Watch the linebacker move to that outside position after Winchell had checked signals. He then moves to the outside position, and Pearson's playing inside out, and he makes the stop. Effective defensive move. Real chess game going on down there.
Under the 5-minute mark, as you see the scoreboard at Ratliff Stadium, 3rd and 6 from the 19-yard line. Winchell with another long count as he looks across the Rebel defense. Winchell to throw, looking for Adrian Villa. Instead, he will run and be thrown for a loss.
Excellent coverage that time by the Lee Rebel secondary. There was just simply no one to throw the football to. He was trying to hit on a quick out to the far sideline, but that was covered all the way. Winchell just didn't have anyone else to throw to, so he tucked the ball, got what he could back up the field.
Alan Wiles will try a field goal as the ball is spotted at the 32-yard line, so it'll be a 42-yard attempt for Wiles. Wiles 2 field goals against Marshall. The snap back. The ball down. The kick is no good. Off to the right. So the Panthers fail to take advantage of a Lee mistake with the fumble, and the Rebel defense has done a great job of holding Permian.
Okay, so that you see a 14-10 score, and that's because the Lee Rebel defense bucked up and really got tough that time. Permian for the first time showed an inclination that they would like to throw the football, but it just wasn't there to throw.
So the Rebels come back to take over 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Ty Chambers at quarterback. Up the middle to Quincy White.
Base play of the wishbone, and they grinds it into the middle, picks up his allotted about 2 or 3 yards. But that's really all that you're looking for out of that play. But it really does make the people play tight on the inside.
2-yard pickup will make it 2nd and 8. 3.5 minutes left now in the first half. Tam Hollingshead calling the defensive signals from the Permian sidelines. Second and 8 from the 22. Pass by Henderson is complete. No, drop just off the hands of Troy Oliver.
And it was just off the hands because I believe that was Robert Brown. Yes, number 12, Robert Brown, breaks him in two in the middle about the time he catches the ball. Boy, it's hard to hold on when they get hit like this. Watch this. He's in the air, and whoop. Whoop.
Robert Brown there. Cotty Dean.
Cotty Dean coming from behind, but Robert Brown's the one that will make his ribs hurt for about 3 days.
3rd and 8 from the 22-yard line for the Rebels. Clock will stop with 3:10 to go in the first half. Rebels with receivers to the right and the left. Chambers on the option is brought down. Short of a first down. It was Robert Brown who made the hit for Permian, and the Mojo fans watch on. Permian defense is held.
Okay, that's the first time that either team has been able to stop each other. Lee stopped Permian, now Permian stops Lee. And that's a major thing now as the defenses are beginning to understand what they're facing and bucking up and playing the kind of football. And this could really turn into a grinder before it's over.
Panthers put on a return. You saw Stan Wilkins and Lloyd Hill, Robert Brown also back there. There's the kick. Robert Brown calls for the fair catch and will take it at around the 38-yard line after the punt by Roland Flores. So the Panthers will start at 1st and 10.
About the 40-yard line.
They'll put it at the 40 with 2 minutes and 27 seconds left to go in the first half of play. Permian leading at 14 to 10.
You were going to say they're leading 10 to 14.
That's not easy to do. It's never been done. Hill to the right, Brown to the left. Winchell to throw. Looking for Lloyd Hill. Long, deep, Hill catches it at the 10, and that's a Mojo touchdown for Lloyd Hill.
That's the difference in the Permian offense this year from what it's been in the past. In the past, it was grind for the whole ball game. This year, they have a passing attack, and they can strike with that big play strike, and that really does demoralize the defense that just got through holding the other team. Beautiful job of catching the football right over his shoulder. Looks back at the official, or I guess it was the official. I guess he thought maybe that was Lee Rebel coming up there.
60-yard TD pass. Wiles with the point after attempt, and it's through the uprights. With 2 minutes and 19 seconds left to go in the first half, the Panthers have extended their lead over the Rebels. As Permian goes up 21-10.
And I think the reason he looked around at the official is because the official probably had the best coverage of anybody on the field on that pass play.
For Lloyd Hill.
Tried to watch it there again, but it was a little tie-up in the machinery there.
Hill has 10 touchdown grabs for Permian.
Watch the catch here. Beautiful catch right over his shoulder. And the official's probably as close as anybody on the field. But Lloyd Hill had got behind the defense and was simply running away from them. And with his speed, they weren't going to catch him.
So the Mike Winchell to Lloyd Hill connection works again. Winchell with 4 touchdown tosses last week. The second time in the season he has done that. And his first of the night here to make it 21-10. And how big a play will that be emotionally, Don, as you go to the locker room? The Rebels very much in it at 14-10, looking good, and then one big play makes it 21-10.
That really hurts because their defense had just got through stopping Permian on a drive, and deny them points, and then turn right around and give up the big touchdown.
Scrambler taking the ball out of the end zone. Scrambler back to the 12, 15, brought down to the 17-yard line.
Good downfield coverage as Scrambler took the kick and tried to get to his wall on the far side, and he just couldn't quite get around the corner to get there. Scrambler kind of bobbles the ball here for a moment, picks it up in the end zone, and decides to come on out with it, which was, you know, he's trying to get around to the outside there, and it just simply wasn't there.
So it's 1st and 10 Rebels. The ball at their own 17-yard line with 2:12 left to go in the first half of play. Flags will fly. So the clock will stop with 2:09 left, and the penalty going against the Rebels.
I'm not sure. There comes the flag in late, and I'm not sure what it was for. It was a real late flag, and I'm not sure what the call is at this point.
So the mark-off will come against the Rebels. 5-yard penalty.
Illegal motion's what he called on the play. Sorry, I didn't pick that up.
So 1st and 15. Back to the 12-yard line. Under the 2-minute mark now. As the Rebels come up to the line of scrimmage. They shift once again. Scrambler has the ball. Scrambler tripped up in the backfield. And it was Cotty Dean that brought him to the turf.
Right, Cotty Dean and Ivory Christian combine in this to make the tackle this time, and that, you know, some good hitting out there, some gang tackling going on as the defensive units of both ball clubs have really settled in to play some tough, hard-nosed football at this point. Permian, of course, with the upper hand because they've got that 21-10 lead. When you get that kind of a lead in a tight ball game, you can afford to start doing some things on defense you wouldn't normally do. You can take some stunts and some risks, and it makes it tougher to move against you.
Pickup of 1, 2nd and 14 from the 13. Across the middle, pass is incomplete, intended for Quincy White. Ty Chambers throwing it too low for Quincy.
All right, Chambers standing up once again. This is that quick release pass. He fakes the base play and just stands right there and just dumps it. And Quincy was coming across on a drag pattern from the other side. He was wide open. If the ball had been up in the air, he had some yardage.
3rd and 14. One thing that incompleted pass does, it stops the clock with 1:13 to go. You see Stan Wilkins from his cornerback slot. 3rd and 14 from the 3rd and 14 from the 13 with 1:13 to go. Keeping it on the ground, Quincy White with running room. 1st down. White will break it across the 30-yard line out to the 35.
Quincy White just turning into a wild bull elephant on this one, folks, as he just runs through people and over people. Hit hard right there by Ivory Christian. Just shucks off the tackle. Another try right there, and he finally got an ankle and brought him down. They were lucky that he didn't get a whole lot more yardage than that. And Quincy White is a load.
Less than a minute to go in the first half. 1st and 10 from the 39-yard line. The Rebels look to throw. Chambers back, being pressured. Gets the pass away, and it's incomplete.
Very fortunate that they didn't have a illegal receiver downfield call that time, because there were a couple of linemen that were a good 5-6 yards downfield as he was scrambling around. And of course, they can't see what the quarterback's doing. They're going on a timed count. And when he had to scramble, he didn't get rid of the ball as quick. So he was coming back down. A new quarterback coming in for the Lee Rebels is Vince Henderson comes in this time.
So Henderson brings them up to the line on 2nd and 10 from their own 39, 48 seconds to go. Receivers wide right, wide left. No one in the backfield. You know he's going to throw. He does. To White, completed.
And he has got a 1st down. They're marking it square dab on the 45-yard line. That will give them a 1st by about a half a yard. Good pass pattern run this time as he comes down exactly where he's got to be to get the 1st down, turns around, and catches the football.
Lloyd Hill
making the stop.
Lloyd used to catching him, that time stopping in Quincy White. You see the clock. 1st and 10 from the 45. Receivers wide right, wide left. Chambers keeps the football. Running room to the 50. Ty Chambers, a nice move inside on the option as he kept it.
And they're calling a timeout for the Lee Rebels as they want to try to stop the clock with 17 seconds left. Good job of running that time and a good job of stopping as Ivory Christian was out there to make the stop.
2nd and 5 from the 50 after that timeout called by the Lee Rebels. Coming up Sunday night on Channel 7, we'll enjoy 60 Minutes once again, and that will begin once our NFL football doubleheader has been completed. So it'll be shortly after 6 o'clock. You'll enjoy 60 Minutes in their 20th or 25th year.
We promised we were going to find out which.
That's right. Let's see if we can name the entire crew. Can you do that? Harry Reasoner,
Morley Safer, Mike Wallace, and the good-looking one.
The good-looking babe.
Ooh.
Who's that?
Diane Sawyer.
That's the one.
That's the one.
Very nice. 4 for 4, even though it took a while.
And a little prompting from the truck.
Yes. Thank you, Junior.
Thank you, Junior. And we're going to miss Junior.
2nd and 5 from midfield. 17 seconds are left to go in the first half. The Rebels trailing 21-10. They'd like to put some points on the board before halftime. Back to throw. Henderson, long, deep, and caught. The Rebels will take it into the end zone.
Nope. He's calling him down on the 1-foot line with 6 seconds left to go in the ball game. Do the Rebels have a timeout left? They better take it.
Lloyd Hill making the stop. And I thought he was in, but he'll be stopped right at the goal line.
And they do take the timeout, their final timeout. I thought they had one left, but they waited a long time before they took it. They should have been signaling that timeout immediately. He was down on about the 6-inch line, I think. The ball liked about 6 inches getting into the end zone.
We have a mystery Rebel that made that big play, number 80, which we do not have listed. But a great catch in traffic to set the Rebels up.
The mystery player scores big again.
1st and goal from the 1.
Watch this, real close here now. Watch, the ball's down right there, just short of the goal line. Official right square on top of the play, right there. That's it. He is about 6 inches short. I thought he was in, but he is about 6 inches short. Great play, great camera work by our sideline cameraman, and great work from the truck down there with Junior Lopez and the crew.
Ty Chambers at quarterback. And let's see if the Rebels are in.
No signal yet.
The Rebels say they're in. The officials have not made an indication. There's no time showing on the clock. It is a touchdown.
It is a touchdown. And boy, that's the big morale swing. Once again, in the last minute and a half of this half, there have been some big switches in momentum. That was a big one for the Lee Rebels right there. Is they going to go into halftime a lot closer than they thought they were.
Jason Fletcher with a touchdown carry. A 1-yard run, capping an incredible drive. The big play, the pass to the mystery man, number 80.
Let's watch it one more time here. He fumbles the ball here. That's what he does. Yes, the ball is fumbled and on the ground. And they're diving underneath the stack there to try to come up with a football.
Rebels going for 2. And they will not get it. Fumble on the play, but the extra point attempt is no good. So as time has expired in the first half of play, an incredible ending to a great half of football.
Oh, that last touchdown, Kurt, was something else. I did not realize that was a fumble, and they watch this. The ball is fumbled here. Watch as he takes the snap from the quarterback, or from the center here. The ball is fumbled. It's on the ground, and it's rolling around down there. Somebody kicks it into the end zone, and then he's diving in there to try to get on it, and I'm not sure who covers the ball. And that's the reason for the delay.
So our halftime score has the Permian Panthers leading the Lee Rebels 21-16. Back with halftime in a moment. This is the JR Productions Sports Special. Ready for the second half of action as the Permian Panthers lead the Rebels by 5 points. You see the Panther banner, and now you see the Lee banner.
We ain't whistling Dixie. Okay. We ain't just whistling Dixie. I'll tell you what, a lot of work has got to go into those huge banners. And then somebody's just going to tear it up. Huh?
But it looks good for a few moments, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks great for a few moments down here. We'll see what goes from there, though. And as the teams prepare to come back out on the field, this is going to be a crucial time of this ball game right now. We're coming out here to face a crucial situation right now because we need both ball clubs need to really do something right quick, real sudden in this third quarter of play to establish what they're going to be able to do through the rest of the ball game. And I'm sure that both coaches have made some adjustments in the locker room at halftime, and we'll just have to see. The Lee Rebels, of course, will be receiving the ball. They'll be at the south end of the field, the right-hand side of your screen, and the Permian Panthers will be kicking off from the north end of the field, the left side of your TV screen. And there are the Lee coaches coming out on the field, and they're getting everybody ready, and Permian's getting ready over here, and we're getting ready to go up here, and everything's getting ready.
I tell you one good thing about halftime, we were able to find the mystery rebel.
Yes, Mr. Seaver.
Right, Jason Seaver with a great catch to set up that touchdown, which made the score 21-16 on a big pass play, probably the biggest pass play of the year for the Rebels because Lee is not known as a passing team. In fact, their highest passing total of the year so far has been 63 yards. That was against Odessa High on the year, 19 of 35 through the air for 394 yards. Lee, the lowest passing average in the district, averaging 56.2 per game. So they don't put it up a lot.
Right. They follow the theory. It's not a matter of how much you pass, it's how effective it is when you do pass. And their passes tonight have been extremely effective. When they have thrown the ball, they've made crucial gains with the pass. And while they use it sparingly, they have used it very, very well.
Ready for the second half of action. Permian begins it with a 5-point lead. You see Ferris Strambler waiting deep. Robert Brown with the kick. Low, end over end, will bounce at the 8-yard line. Strambler brings it out as he picks it up right at the goal line, and he is brought down at the 15-yard line. For the Panthers, it was Todd Allen that made the big hit.
And I mean, he did play crunch time down there. Todd Allen did a great job on that. Watch him. He spins off of a block and then just plants himself right into Ferris Strambler. And the run stops right there. Watch right here. Whoa! Oh, yes, sir. That's convincing.
So the Rebels on offense. See what they can do as they begin the half. They bring Troy Oliver to the left side with a wishbone behind the quarterback. Now they shift out of it. Quincy White will go tight on the right. First play from scrimmage of the third quarter. The pitch back to Strambler. Strambler will be hit hard and brought down. Ivory Christian, Chad Payne, the linebacking core in there. Felipe Davila also for Permian.
Felipe Davila grabs him around the ankles as he comes up here, and that's what cuts him down. Watch him. He's got a hold of his feet, and that stops everything. Also, Billy Steen in there to help out on the play. Give him a yard on it, but it was a very tough, short yard.
A 1-yard pickup on the play. 2nd and 9 from the 16-yard line. Oliver's wide to the left side. Handoff right up the middle. That was David Whiteside with the ball, who will get up around the 20-yard line.
Watch it. It's the little bit of the counter trap type action here, and the first man to make tackle was Brian Johnston there as he wrapped him up and brought him down. Brings up a 3rd down and about an even 5 yards to go on the play. This is the opening minutes of the third quarter in a very, very big ball game for both ball clubs.
Again, the Rebels will shift down to the wishbone under the 11-minute mark. 3rd and 5 from the 20. Quarterback to throw. Completed. First down for the Rebels. Knocked out by Lloyd Hill across the 40.
Michael Pearson, I believe, is the man who caught the pass. Right,
Ty Chambers with the throw.
Ty Chambers, and it is Michael Pearson, the big middle linebacker, also playing a little offense here, and he does a great job of catching the ball, going out of bounds on about the 41-yard line. Excellent play, excellent catch, excellent gain, and it keeps the drive alive.
Big third down for the Rebels. 1st and 10 now from their own 41. 10.5 minutes to go. Up the middle. It's Whiteside who goes across the 45-yard line. David Fierro making the stop along with Brian Johnson.
David Whiteside, number 34.
Watch him as he comes in here, and Brian Johnson goes trailing the play from the backside to help in on the stop. Also in there is David Fierro. He makes the first big contact, and Chad Payne also in there to help out on the tackle.
It's 2nd down and about 5 yards to go. The ball out to the 46-yard line. Rebels on the ground. Hit hard.
That's what you call a...
David Fierro with that big hit.
David Fierro did an oomph. I mean, he really sticks him here. Watch him as he starts to lower his head, and then he straightens up and turned around. He's going the other way. Very good, hard hit by Fierro. And that brings up a 3rd down and short with about 3 yards to go.
Vince Henderson at quarterback on 3rd and 2 from the Rebels' own 48-yard line. Permian crowd on the near side urging their defense on. Rebels on the far side urging the offense on. 9.5 minutes to go in the 3rd. Henderson, the long count. Movement.
No, sir.
Lee will be stopped short of a 1st down.
And I'm trying to see who is in the bottom of that stack. It's number 63. Billy Steen is the man who wraps up his ankles. And somebody else, Steen, yeah, right there. Steen does a great job. Hits him just about knee-high. Has some help in there also. And I think that was Steve Womack that was in there. I'm not sure of that, but I believe it was Steve Womack that was in there. I couldn't tell for sure.
So Whiteside and the Rebels stopped a yard short. It'll be 4th and 1 from the 50-yard line. 9 minutes and counting down as Lloyd Hill drops back deep, flanked by Robert Brown and Stan Wilkins. Rebels back in punt formation. Flores to get underway from about his own 40-yard line. High kick. Fair catch called for. Brown lets it bounce. Panthers get away from it as it goes back upfield, and it'll be down at around the 16-yard line.
16-yard line.
Good job of punting and a good job of punt coverage downfield, and it's probably a good thing that Permian got away from the football that time. Robert Brown simply saying, "Woo, wait a minute, I can't see what I'm doing. Let me get out of here."
So the Permian offense comes out 1st and 10 from their own 16-yard line as the fans are getting footballs right now from the Permian cheerleaders. Meanwhile, their team on the field has it on offense for the first time in the 2nd half. Brown and Hill. Wide to the right side. They keep it on the ground, though, up the middle. Chris Comer, who's hit hard. Michael Pearson coming up in the middle linebacker slot with a big, hard hit on Chris Comer.
My friends, that will make you wish that you had done something else this evening for your entertainment. Let me tell you. Who did he hit him?
2nd and 8. Ball at the 18-yard
2-yard pickup will make it 2nd and 8 from the 18. Coming down on the 8-minute mark now. Winchell gets it back to Comer. Comer across the 20, tripped up and brought down at the 25-yard line.
Very close to the first down, but I think he's going to be about a half a yard short. Let's see where they mark the ball. Yeah, they're marking it at, let's watch, it's just the toss play once again. A good lead block out in front, and Comer brings it out. Well, they're giving him a benefit of the mark, but it is a 3rd down and about 1 yard to go.
James Brown made the stop for Lee, former Permian player 2 years ago, now playing for the Rebels. 3rd and 1 from the 25-yard line. Comer will have a 1st down.
Chris Comer did a good job that time of just simply lowering his head and going over the stack and picking up the necessary yardage to give the Panthers a 1st down and 10 yards to go on about the 29-yard line. Clock continues to move. 7 minutes, 13 seconds left in this 3rd quarter of action here. No scoring in the 2nd half of play. We've got a 21-16 score with Odessa Permian out on top at this point.
Mike Winchell will get the ball back to Comer again. Comer upended as he goes across the 30 by James Brown.
James Brown's a pretty good load. He's about 195 pounds, and he stuck his shoulder in there and stopped Chris Comer cold. Does a good job right here as he sticks in there and just flips him up over his head, puts him on his head. It came over Brown's head to Comer's head. It was a heady play.
There you see the Longhorn Band that'll be performing after the game tonight. They're headed to Lubbock for the battle between the Longhorns and the Red Raiders on Saturday.
Ooh,
In the
counterplay,
backfield,
great
Michael
play by
Pearson.
Michael Pearson. Oh, that's a good play. Michael Pearson is just playing himself a really heady football game. Watch him as he comes in here, reads the play, delays his move, comes in there, wraps Don Billingsley up and drops him for a loss. Billingsley never had a chance, but he had plenty of blocking out on that corner. If Pearson hadn't come through on the backside of that play, there was yardage to be made.
A 1-yard loss will make it 3rd and 7 from the 32. Less than 6 minutes to go in the third. Hill, or that is Brown, to the right side. Winchell to throw. Winchell across the middle. Completed to Lloyd Hill. Flag on the play as Lloyd Hill has a first down going out of bounds in Rebel territory at the 48, but let's check out the marker.
I believe it's going to be a holding call against the Permian Panthers, and they're going to bring this one back.
It will be holding against Permian. So take away the first down and make it 3rd and long.
And there it is, right on the outside over there, and it was a good call by the officials. Permian crowd did not like the call, but it was a good call. Nice play to watch, but it's all for naught. That's when you go back and say, okay, folks, we got to do that a little better. That's a big penalty.
And that'll take the ball all the way back to the 22-yard line and set up a 3rd and 17 for the Panthers.
3rd and 17, the ball at the 22-yard line.
5.5 minutes to go in the third quarter as Gary Gaines sends in a new play with Mike Winchell. The Rebel defense trying to keep the Panthers right where they are, backed up deep in their own end zone, or not in their own end zone, but in their own end of the field, so they have to kick away from there. Hill and Brown both go wide to the left side. Winchell looking over the defense. On the delay, gives it to Comer. Comer will not have any running room at all. The Lee defense was right there to stop him.
They were waiting
Panthers
for it that time, and that was Sid Harper in there along with Charles Ellis, Brad Hanlon, and Crew. That time as they bring it up to a 4th down in a punting situation. The wind, not much of a factor tonight. It's cool, very cool to play, but really the wind has calmed down from what it was earlier in the day, and it's not a bad night. If anything, he's got a little trailing wind behind him.
Travis West averaging 35.9 yards per kick. High kick will be taken at the 44-yard line, diving ahead for it. And there's a timeout on the field with 4 minutes and 36 seconds left to go in the third quarter. We'll take time. With the Permian Panthers still leading the Lee Rebels 21-16. This is the JR Production Sports Special. Don Scott at Ratliff Stadium, where it's 1st and 10 Rebels from their own 44-yard line. Coming back on offense, Ty Chambers pitches it back to Ferris Strambler. Strambler gets into Permian territory, knocked out of bounds. As he goes to the 47-yard line, Lloyd Hill pushed him out.
About a 9-yard pickup on the play, and this is basically upon Ferris Strambler's cutting and running ability. Watch him here. He does a great job. A nice pitch coming out there to him. Comes up, and he avoids one tackle right there as he simply dips out, kind of brushes the man off, and fights on up for a little yardage, but he stepped out of bounds on the 47-yard line, bringing it up 2nd and 1.
So a 9-yard pickup by Strambler, who came in looking for the 1,000-yard mark tonight. 4.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Henderson in at quarterback. Up the middle to Quincy White. No running room for White.
And that was Billy Steen and Ivory Christian and Felipe Davila in there as the middle of that Permian defense really stiffened up, and they all got a hold of him. And they better get a hold of him because Quincy White's quite a load.
Coming in tonight, Strambler needing 93 yards to become the 6th back in Lee history to go over 1,000 yards. And only the 3rd to reach that plateau in the regular season. Isaac Garnett was the first to do that back in 1983. Others include Wayman Goodley, Dennis Sterling, Tyrone Thurman, and Walter Jones did it twice.
Tyrone Thurman.
So first down for the Rebels. As the ball is at the Permian 46. And so the drive continues as Ty Chambers brings a new play in from the sidelines. Chambers will send Oliver to the right side. Seaver to the left. White is in his backfield. Henderson Hands it off to White. Burst through one hole.
Quincy White just doing a tremendous job of power football running. There's no finesse to this at all, folks. This is just straight ahead. I'm going to run over somebody. And he gets out there and picks up about 8-9 yards on the carry.
2nd and 2. The ball is at the Permian 37-yard line. The Rebels trail by 5. They're going for the lead. Vince Henderson shifts them around again. Up the middle to Ferris Strambler. Running room. First down. Strambler down to the 25 as Lloyd Hill finally brought him to the turf.
This is simple power football. The Lee Rebels are running straight at Permian. Many coaches around the country will tell you if you're going to have a chance against Permian, you can't finesse them. You've got to run straight ahead, straight at them, and try to catch them in the wrong angle, the wrong slant. And that time they did. It was good for a first down.
1st and 10 at the 28-yard line as Ty Chambers checks back in. The clock showing 3 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Oliver to the right, Seaver to the left, Quincy White in the backfield. Chambers hands it off to White up the middle to the 25-yard line. Pickup of 2, maybe 3 yards.
Same base play off of the wishbone, just leaves it with the tailback as he comes powering in there. And it was Kelly Steen, Ivory Christian, and friends in there that time to make the stop. Once again, the quarterback takes an alternate.
2nd and 7 at the 25, 2.5 minutes to go. Henderson lines him up in the wishbone. Takes the snap, gives it back to Ferris Strambler, who turns and will be brought down at the 21-yard line. Lloyd Hill making the hit.
That was a little bit of trickery out of this. Watch this, a little simple spin around move, head around the other way. Everybody bails out to go with him, and Lloyd Hill is the one that gets up there to make the stop, and some people coming in behind there.
Steve Womack also in there.
Steve Womack coming up behind to help him on the stop, brings up a 3rd down, crucial 3rd down for the Midland Lee Rebels.
3rd and 3 at the 20-yard line. Both sides of Ratliff Stadium on their feet. Chambers to White. First down.
Quincy White just bulldogged that one in there, friend. That's what you call getting in front of a bulldozer, because he just plowed his way. Watch this. Some good blocking at the point of attack right there, but mainly it's just a matter of his power as he drags one would-be tackler with him for an extra couple of yards.
Steve Womack grabbed around the ankles. Robert Brown brought him to the turf. 1st and 10, Rebels at the Panthers' 14-yard line. Receivers to the right and left. Chambers at quarterback. Hand off to Whiteside. Whiteside a yard, maybe 2. Short pickup on 1st down.
Okay, he got his about his 2-3 yard pickup there. That's about an average play for the wishbone, and of course they're down in 4-down territory now. If they can pick up 3 yards a carry, that gives them 12 yards. That's a 1st down, and they'll keep marching right on down the field with that. The Odessa Permian Panthers, if they're going to stop them here, need to make a big play right now and drop them for a loss and give them 3rd and long.
Ty Chambers back in. 35 seconds and counting down. Ferris Strambler has the football. Strambler dives ahead, jumping over the 10-yard line. Chad Payne making the stop.
Okay, let's watch it. It's just the toss play off of the wishbone, and he's coming outside, and Chad Payne gets a hold of him and brings him down short of the 1st down, but that brings up 3rd down and about 4 yards to go. And as I said, this is 4-down territory.
They'll call it 3rd and 3 at the 8. 7 seconds left in the 3rd as the Rebels come up to the line of scrimmage. Will they get the play underway? Time has expired. They do not get the play underway, and the 3rd quarter has ended, but it ends with the Rebels on the move. After 3 complete from Ratliff Stadium, the Permian Panthers continue to lead the Rebels, but that lead in jeopardy. It's Permian 21, lead 16. This is a JR Production Sports Special.
Okay, back to action at Ratliff Stadium. Kurt, we've got a barn burner of a game. 12 minutes to go in this ball game as we start the 4th quarter with a 5-point lead for Permian at this point, but Lee has the ball on a 3rd and about 4, but they're all the way down to about the 13-yard line.
Make it the 8-yard line.
8-yard line. Okay, so I'm on the wrong side.
That's even closer.
I count backward. Whatever. I don't know.
Rebels will send receivers to the right and left. Wishbone behind the quarterback, who is Vince Henderson. Now they shift out of the bone. Henderson takes the ball. Scrambler, first down, looks for the end zone, doesn't find it, but it's 1st and goal from about the 1. Robert Brown kept him out of the end zone.
And that was some hard running by Ferris Scrambler. He's normally the outside man, but this time he brings it on the inside play. Does a great job, and he has just barely stopped short of the end zone. Whoa.
1st and goal from the 1 as the 4th quarter gets underway. The Rebels trying to take the lead back, which they had at 10-7. They trailed 21-7. Up the middle, Whiteside is stopped.
He hit.
Robert Brown made the initial big hit on David Whiteside.
Permian Panthers in a double blood stunt that time, and he comes in hard, wraps him up around the legs, and drops him before he ever has a chance to get going. That was your strong safety coming in to make the hit.
Vince Henderson is in there at quarterback, and that is how close the football is to the end zone. Wishbone, double tight end. Henderson, handoff Scrambler. He's into the end zone, and the Rebels have scored and taken the lead back.
Simply power football as they shove this into the end zone. Here they come, right at you. Scrambler just barrels in over the top of the bodies on the ground. He gets in there with it. Looked like he may have fumbled the football there, Kurt. But I think it was after his body had crossed the goal line. But I believe it was a fumble on there.
The scoring drive for the Rebels, taking them 11 plays, 56 yards. They started with 4:36 to go in the 3rd. They end with 10:53 to go. And the Rebels will go for 2, but they will call a timeout before they will do it. They have a slim 1-point lead right now. The 2-point conversion, of course, would make it at least a field goal for Permian to tie. The 1-point conversion would just make it 2 points. So the try for 2 would ensure at least a field goal for a tie. Rebels talking it over on the sidelines right now. That scoring drive again capped by the Ferris Scrambler 1-yard run. The Rebels led 10-7. They trailed 21-10, and they now have the lead back at 22-21. And they now have the lead back at 22-21. An outstanding game between two bitter, intense rivals.
Okay, going to be interesting here. They tried for 2 once before, did not make it, and of course that's what's got them down in the hole. But actually, you know, you're talking about a tie. The only person that can benefit from a tie in this ball game is Odessa Permian. A tie would leave them in command of the district race. A tie for Midland Lee, just about as bad as a loss.
Oliver goes to the right, or to the left. Sieber to the right. Chambers at quarterback. Up the middle. Chambers fumbles. Lee picks it up now. Permian picks it up. Robert Brown.
It's going to be 2 going the other way. No. It was a fumble that was on the ground.
He cannot return a fumble even though he is still doing it. They say he cannot return a fumble. What a big play that was, because as he's running down, you'd think 2 points would give the Panthers the lead back.
Right.
But it doesn't happen that way.
Can't advance a fumble.
Wow.
You can advance. If it had been a pass play and he had intercepted it in the air, then he could have run it back and made the 2, but you cannot advance a fumble.
There it is again, the fumble on the ground.
Yeah, it did get on the ground. I was not sure. Yes, it was on the ground. I was not sure there. I thought perhaps it was still bouncing on the backs of people there for a while when he picked the ball up, but it was not.
So the Rebels have the lead with 10 minutes and 53 seconds left to go in the ball game at 22-21.
Woo-wee. That's about as tight as that's about as tight as a corset on Christmas Day.
And that is tight.
I wouldn't really know. Perhaps you do.
I've probably seen it in the movies.
Right.
Arthur Donnelly tees it up
Number 12, Robert Brown.
at the 40-yard line. Robert Brown drops deep along with Adrian Villa. Donnelly's kick high, end over end. Brown will take it at the 5. Brown back with the return at the 10, the 15, the 20-yard line. Brown trying to split him to the 27. Before he is brought down, Michael Pearson was there.
Along with number 12, that's Mike Wyatt, got down there to make that stop that time.
Michael Pearson.
Pearson and Wyatt teaming up on a lot of stops tonight. Michael Pearson playing a tremendous game, and as the senior middle linebacker is proving once again that he's about as good as there is around this part of the state.
So the Panther offense will begin at 1st and 10 from the 27-yard line. Robert Brown goes wide to the right side. Lloyd Hill is tight on the left. Chavez tight on the right. Up the middle to Chris Comer. Comer across the 31 before Gabe Vasquez brings him down.
Okay, just a simple blast play coming off that side as Comer walks over the back of people to pick up his yardage. But he got a nice gain on first down, moves the ball out, gives them second and about 5, maybe long 5.
10-20 and counting. 2nd and 5 from the 31-yard line. Brown and Villa to the right side. Comer in the backfield with a short pickup.
Chris Comer, the ball carrier.
Once again, that's Pearson in there to wrap him up from on the tackle. The blocking broke down at the point of attack as number 52, Brad Hanlon, does a good job of jamming the play back to the inside, and that's what caused some problems.
1-yard pickup, 3rd and 4.
He just crunched the line down from the outside that time and closed up the hole.
Brown wide right. Winchell to throw. Incomplete. In and out of the hands of Lloyd Hill. They lined up at the tight end, and the Panthers will be forced to punt.
And there we go, one more time around. This time it's the ball's just thrown a little bit too high for Lloyd Hill, and actually that was Henderson, I believe, coming in there on the coverage. If he had been looking up at the football, he had a chance for an interception that time.
So it's 4th and 4 as Travis West will be forced to punt for the 2nd time tonight. Rebels dropping deep with Blaine McAnally. And there is a fumble on the play. Permian has it.
Permian has the football on a muffed fair catch. He fair caught the ball and just simply didn't get there, and Cotty Dean gets down and gets down on the football. Watch it one more time here. He's calling for the fair catch. His hand is up, but it just drops in front of him. He never gives up to it, and it bounces right out to Cotty Dean, and he gets in there on top of it in a hurry. Big break for the Odessa Permian Panthers here. Sets them up 1st and 10 on the Lee Rebel 40-yard line with a 22-21 lead. The Lee Rebels defense is being tested, and they want a timeout to talk about it.
And I believe the timeout will be called as much to talk about what will happen as they want to talk to the official as well. And let's see if Earl Miller does get one of the officials over there, which I believe they're going to do right now.
As the officials are going over to have a chat with him, he's saying that he did not have room to catch the football. I'm sure that's his argument. There have been about 3 times tonight that I thought they were standing within that 2-yard zone that they have to give him a clear zone. I'm not sure whether he did that time or not. Was not really that alert to it, but he had room to catch the ball. It just simply fell on the ground in front of him. He just didn't get his hands on it.
Well, he also had to dive ahead. He called for the fair catch, had to dive ahead to make it. As he dove ahead, naturally brought the defenders in there a little bit closer, but
he kind of pushed the ball off when he dove ahead, and Gotti Dean got down on the ball. Coach Miller not real happy about things right now. He did not like that call. Number 1, he didn't like the call because he thought they were crowding him. Number 2, he wasn't real sure that his man touched the ball. Let's take a look at it here. See, he's got, okay, let's see where he is now. He's got these 2 yards. The man is not moving. He's moving up toward him, and he does touch the ball. It was close, but I believe that the momentum that was carrying the man forward, the Permian players stopped. They weren't moving.
First and 10 Panthers at the Rebel 40-yard line. Winchell gets it to Comer. Comer will be brought down for a short pickup. It looked like he would have a hole, but it closed up very quickly. Brian Chavez trying to lead the way out there. It was Steve Ruckman that made the hit for the Rebels.
Good job of defense that time as the Lee Rebels got out there and closed it down. Two backs out in front of him, but they didn't get the block made that time.
Under the 9-minute mark, 2nd and 8. Again, Comer has it up the middle. Comer near a first down.
Going to be about a yard short, or no, a half yard short. Let's see. Wayne McAnally came in there. Blaine McAnally, that is, a senior 180-pounder, came in there to make the stop that time. It's a 3rd down, 1 yard to go on about the 30-yard line, but I believe at this point in the ball game, as far as Coach Gaines is concerned, this is 4-down territory.
3rd and 1 at the 30. Receivers to the left side. First down Permian as Chris Comer takes it inside the 30-yard line.
Number 85 for the Lee Rebels. That was Ruckman once again, gets his hand in there and trips him up. No, he was not the one. It's Gabe Vasquez again. Gabe Vasquez is trying to get in here and try to put the stop on this Permian drive. Coming from a big break when they muffed a punt. The Permian Panthers recovered it, kept their drive going. See what happens.
Round to the right, Hill to the left. 1st and 10 from the 28-yard line. Panthers trail by 1. Up the middle, Chris Comer, tough running. Picks up 2, maybe 3. Charles Ellis, the first man to hit him. So it'll be a pickup of 3. We'll call it 2nd and 7.
Just once again, good hard running by Chris Comer. That's what he's done all year long, is he's grounded out on the inside. It's a 2nd down, and I'm not sure what their field goal kicker's yardage is, but they're getting close to field goal territory anyway.
2nd and 7. Some tough running as Ruckman brought Chris Comer to the turf.
Chris Comer is being the workhorse on this drive now as it's grinded out time. 3rd down now and about 3 yards to go on about the 22-yard line. And I'm sure this is 4-down territory.
Robert Brown brings a new play in from the sidelines, relays it to Mike Winchell, who tells his teammates about it. 3rd and 3 from the 22. Big play in this ball game. Under the 7-minute mark. Brown to the left, Hill to the right. Comer and Billingsley. Comer gets it to the 20-yard line, short of a first down. It'll be 4th and short for the Panthers.
He's about the 20.5-yard line. He's got to get to the 21. Believe that's where they're going to mark it, just inside the 20-yard line. So that's going to make it about a 4th and 1. And like I say, it's 4-down territory, and I don't think there's any doubt that's what they're going to do, is they're going for it. And that brings the crowd to their feet. Here they come. Oh, this could be the ball game right here, Kurt. This is a big one.
Brown to the right. Up the middle, Comer. First down, Panthers.
Yes, sir. Chris Comer did it all, just about all on his own. He had some blocks on the line, but he had to wade over people from the very instant he got the football, and he just waded down there to pick up that first down. Tough, hard running and some good hitting. Ruckman in there to make the stop, along with Ellis, Vasquez, and some others.
6 minutes to go in the ball game. Lee leads it by 1 point, 22-21. Permian on the move. 1st and 10 at the Rebel 18. Robert Brown to the left. The pitch comes back now to Lloyd Hill out of the backfield. Hill spins inside the 15, down to the 13-yard line. A tough 5 yards for Lloyd Hill.
Good hard running by Lloyd Hill this time. Lloyd Hill primarily known as a receiver, but he has demonstrated tonight that he can run. He can run pretty well in some heavy traffic. He does a good job of spinning and moving and driving, keeping those feet moving and gaining a little bit more yardage. 5 minutes, 21 seconds left. Yeah. It's getting tight.
We're all watching that clock. The ball at the 13, where we'll call it 2nd and 6. Winchell to Comer. No gain. In fact, maybe a yard loss on the play as the lead defense rises to the occasion.
Gabe Vasquez in there to make a big hit that time. Watch it here as Vasquez comes in and does a big job of hitting him and stopping him short. And right behind him, Mike Pearson was there to make sure that he didn't go any further. Ooh, 3rd down and 5 on the, what do we go, 13-yard line?
So no gain on the play. 4:40 and counting down. Winchell. Billingsley in motion. Fakes a handoff. Looks to throw for Lloyd Hill in the end zone. And no, he is out of bounds.
Out of bounds. Now then, Coach Gaines has a big, big decision to make. Do you go for the field goal on 4th and 5 from the 13, make it a 23, 20, about a 30-yard field goal? Watch it again. Is he just out of bounds here? His feet just out of bounds when he caught the ball. Good call by the officials. They were right on top of the play.
Panthers are going to kick.
They are going to try for the field goal. Boy, this is a big, big play. Talk about huge play. This is the one. 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in a tremendous football game.
Stan Wilkins to hold. Snap back. Ball down. The kick is blocked. Wilkins falls on it, but the Rebels have held. And Lee still has the lead.
22-21 with 4 minutes, 23 seconds left in the football game. And now it is all on the shoulders of the Permian defense. They have got to stop them, and they have got to stop them right now.
Timeout on the field. We'll take a break with 4:23 to go. Permian trails lead 22-21. This is the JR Productions Sports Special. Kurt Kaiser and Don Scott back at Ratliff Stadium for the final 4 minutes and 23 seconds of this thriller. Quincy White, short pickup as he runs it out of the backfield.
Okay, last week I said that you weren't going to see anybody throw a pass at this situation, but I really don't think you're going to see the Lee Rebels passing right now. I think they're going to try to grind out what they can. If they can pick up a couple of first downs, they can just about salt this football game away.
3-yard pickup will make it 2nd and 7. Panthers have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. Lee has 1. Ben Henderson in at quarterback. They shift out of the wishbone. That's David Whiteside, the ball carrier.
And he is stopped right on the line of scrimmage as he was submarined under by Brian Johnson, who came under, cut his legs out from under him and dropped him on the turf. Ivory Christian also in there, but there were lots of folks in there to hit him.
3.5 minutes to go in the game. 3rd and 7. No gain on the last play. Big play for the defense and big play for the Lee offense.
3 minutes, 20 seconds left in this ball game.
Receivers wide right, wide left. Oliver left, Seaver right. Chambers in at quarterback. Long count. Chambers to throw. It is incomplete. The clock will stop with 3 minutes and 3 seconds to go. Stan Wilkins defending.
Brought up a 4th down play. They forced the Lee Rebels out of their running game, forced them to throw the ball. That's something they do not do very well. Man was extremely well covered. Stan Wilkins had inside position. There was absolutely no way he was going to complete that ball. Threw it the only place he could, and that was out of bounds. Any place else would have been Mr. Wilkins' football instead of his receivers.
There's Lloyd Hill dropping deep, flanked on either side by Stan Wilkins and Robert Brown.
3:03 left in the first, or the ball game, period.
Roland Flores to kick. High kick will be called for a fair catch by Stan Wilkins, and he has it at the 31-yard line.
That's about the 26-yard line.
That's about the 26, yeah.
That's what you said, right?
That's right. My 26 sounds a lot different. Here's the situation. 2 minutes, 55 seconds to go in the ball game. Permian trails by 1 point. They have the ball 1st and 10 from their own 26-yard line.
And they have tried 2 field goals in this ball game. They had 1 block and they missed 1, so they need to put it in the end zone.
They have all 3 timeouts remaining as Winchell fades to throw. Winchell completed, no, off the fingertips of Lloyd Hill, incomplete.
Out there on the coverage was Gabe Vasquez as he followed him all the way out from the as the linebacker picked up the back coming out of the backfield. That's really a mismatch as Lloyd Hill has got a lot more speed than Vasquez, but it just simply wasn't there.
So it'll be 2nd and 10. 5 seconds ticked off the clock. 2:50 left in the ball game. And apparently there was a flag which we didn't see. Penalty against Permian.
On the play,
ineligible receiver downfield on the play, and that's going to set it back 5 more yards. That used to be a loss of down. It no longer is in high school football in the state of Texas. That's one of the rule changes that have come in the last several years.
So 1st and 10 becomes 1st and 15 from the 21-yard line. That's Hill, or make that, yes, Lloyd Hill in motion. Winchell trying to find him and does so at the 29. Hill spins and will be knocked out of bounds at the 33-yard line. 3 Rebels were there to knock him out short of a first down.
Gabe Vasquez was one of the first ones in there, along with Mark Wyatt and others. A good pass, good catch. Lloyd Hill does a good job of moving the football after he catches it. He backs up on him, picks up that extra 2 or 3 yards, and finally Gabe Vasquez comes over to put the Caidas on it.
13-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd and 2 from the 34, the Panthers' own 34. 2:41 left in the ball game. Robert Brown to the right. That's Hill in motion to the right side. Winchell gets it back to Chris Comer. Comer looking outside, will be brought down with a great defensive play by the Rebels. And that was Blaine McAnally.
Does a great job of just reaching out and getting him. I really thought he had room to run on this one. But Blaine McAnally just gets a hold of the back of his shirt and brings him down. If he hadn't made that stop, Chris Comer had a lot of green AstroTurf in front of him.
Comer still picks up the first down. It'll be 1st and 10. The ball out to the 37. 2.5 minutes left in the game. Brian Chavez lines up wide right. Adrian Villa to the left. Lloyd Hill in motion to the near side of the field. As Winchell looks to throw to Hill. Completed. Hill knocked out of bounds. Short pickup on the pass play as he's knocked out at the 40-yard line by Mike Wyatt.
Perhaps as much advantage to that as anything else is the fact that he did get out of bounds and stop the clock, conserving it with 2 minutes, 14 seconds left to play. The Permian Panthers on the short end of a 22-21 score as Lloyd Hill catches the ball, steps out of bounds on the 40, bringing up 2nd down and about 6 yards to go. Give him a 3.5, 4-yard pickup on the play.
2nd and 6 from the 41-yard line. 2:15 to go in the game. Winchell to Comer up the middle. Chris Comer will be stopped at the 44-yard line. It'll be 3rd and about 2 or 3 for the Panthers.
And that was a great call by Gary Gaines, and it just almost did what he wanted it to. He's passed, he's thrown, he's run outside, he's loosened up the middle of that defense, and he almost popped Comer loose. But Benny Jones got in there to make the stop and dropped him about 3 yards short of the first down.
1:45 and counting down. 3rd and 3 from the 44. Hill in motion. Winchell to Hill. First down. Hill will go out at the 40-yard line. Make it the 41.
Winchell to Hill one more time, does what has to be done, and it's Wyatt and Vasquez once again who make the stop as Lloyd Hill does a good job of moving with the football. Lloyd Hill's a little tough to bring down when he gets out in the field.
1:33 left in the game. Permian has all 3 timeouts remaining. They trail by 1 point. And now they'll use one of those timeouts. No, the Rebels used their last timeout.
The Lee Rebels are taking their final timeout. They want a chance to regroup, see what they can do here. And folks, this one's just about as close as it can get.
I need a chance to regroup too.
1 minute, 33 seconds left in the football game. The Lee Rebels hanging tenaciously on to a 22-21 lead. Tremendous football game, and anybody that missed this one tonight, oh Lordy, you missed a great one.
Another great chapter in the rivalry between the Panthers and the Rebels. And we're still 1:33 away from completing it.
Whew. This is a great football game. This is the reason this rivalry is so great, because when these two teams play, they play.
And there really are games where you can throw out the records. Rivalries where you can throw out the records, and I believe this is one of them.
This is a tremendous football game, and there are some young men who have really played extremely well. Picking a player of the game tonight is impossible. The whole team of both teams, offense, defense, everybody has played extremely well. 1st and 10,
Panthers at the Rebel 41. Hill in motion, Brown to the right, Chavez on the left. Winchell looks to throw across the middle to Robert Brown, and it is incomplete, knocked away.
Great play downfield that time. And it was Mike Wyatt, I believe, that got his hand in there to bat that ball away. Let's take another look. I thought someone else was in there too, but I'm not sure. Thought for a moment that Robert Brown had the play, but he does a great job. Number 23 also in there, and that's the other Brown. James Brown and Robert Brown as they tangle it up down there. Great defensive play.
2nd and 10.
1:28 left.
Again, Brown to the right, Hill goes to the right. Winchell to throw, looking for Lloyd Hill, and it is out of bounds, no good. It's 3rd and 10 as Blaine McAnally was back to defend.
Oh me.
1:22 to go.
And boy, did Winchell take a shot as he released that football. Gary Gaines clear out on the field on that one. He's a little upset, and he's a little hyper right now.
Well, he was out on the field to tell Mike Winchell what play to call. And we've got a timeout, and they'll talk more about what play to call. First timeout the Panthers have called, so they still have 2 remaining. Kneeling at the 49-yard line with his quarterback, and he has other members of the offense around him. It'll be 3rd and 10, Lee defense on the far side, huddling with their coaches, and there they are. The entire defensive unit over there.
And they're the only ones that are kneeling because everybody else in this stadium is standing up right now. Tremendous number of people standing up on both sides, and there's a lot of noise. Oh me. And just think, the people that came only paid $5 to get the door and see all of this.
Incredible. I think we should have to pay something a little extra ourselves for just watching it tonight. It's been a great ball game. Well, we don't all have to pay, I guess. Some of us are shorter on cash.
Well, but that one that didn't have to pay is outside the stadium in a truck.
That's true. 3rd and 10.
It's a chilly night, but I don't think there's anybody in the stadium that knows that right now. It is really, really a great ball game. 1:22. Take it, Kurt. Here
Hill
it goes.
To the left. Brown comes back in motion. Winchell to throw. Looking for Robert Brown out of bounds. He had him and couldn't get the ball to him.
He was wide open. He had broken the coverage. He was wide open on the sideline. That was a waltz to the end zone. He was 15 yards in the clear, and he simply throws it over the outside shoulder out of bounds. Great block right there in the backfield that stops it, but part of the problem with that pass was that he had a defender right in his face. Brown was in the clear.
1:17 to go. It's 4th and 10.
This is it.
The Panthers' last chance. Robert Brown to the right. Hill tight on the left. Winchell to throw. He looks for Brown. Flag on the play. Incomplete. We'll check the marker.
Check the marker. I think they're going to call a pass interference against Midland Lee. I believe that is the call. No,
it's against the Panthers.
He calls Chavez for pushing off. And the Midland Lee Rebels will decline that and take over the football. 1 minute, 12 seconds left in the football game. Permian has 2 timeouts. They can stop the clock twice. Not sure that that's enough. It's going to be close. They may get the ball back with 10 or 12 seconds and have a chance to make 1 football play. It's up to the Permian defense right now, and they better buckle down and remember that there's still 1 minute 12 left in this football game because this is an important game. Remember, if this lead stands up, the district race will be in a 3-way tie between the Midland Lee Rebels, the Permian Panthers, and the Midland High Bulldogs. And if it ends that way next week, then it would be a coin toss to decide which 2 teams go in the playoffs.
1st and 10 Rebels, 1:12 to go. Henderson up the middle to Whiteside, or instead that's to Jason Fletcher.
And the Permian Panthers do call a timeout with 1:05 left in the football game.
So Permian has one timeout remaining with 1:05 left.
About another 5 seconds toward this next play. Another timeout would leave a minute left, and then they would have two 25-second plays. They could get the ball back with 10 or 15 seconds left on the clock.
A tough night for the Panthers. The Rebels on the far side are enjoying what they've seen tonight. They come into this ball game huge underdogs, and at this stage they look like they will beat the Panthers for the third year in a row. 2nd and 8. The ball's at the 43-yard line, and the Rebels are just about ready to come up to the line of scrimmage. Well, maybe they're not.
Well, the official's taking the timeout. He's counting it down out there, and he'll tell them in a minute. Now, okay, let's go. Let's play a little football now. We got 1:05 left in this football game. Oh, me.
Ty Chambers at quarterback. Wishbone double tight end. Ferris Strambler going outside. Strambler brought down by Lloyd Hill.
Great job by Lloyd Hill that time, playing great defense, strung it out. He was trying to string him all the way out of bounds, but when Strambler cut it back up, he had to cut him down right there. But he just shadowed him down the line there, really hoping to force him out of bounds and stop the clock. Another timeout by Permian. That leaves with 48 seconds left to go in the football game. They cannot stop the clock anymore. Lee Rebels will run another play, and then they'll let about 30 seconds run off the clock, and if they don't make the first down, they'll let about 30 seconds run off the clock, and then they'll kick it, and Permian should get the ball back with somewhere around 15 to 18 seconds left, time for about 3 passes.
3rd and 6 from the 46.
The bad part of it is Permian will have to throw to the sidelines when they throw it. If they throw it in the middle of the field and are tackled, they'll never get set up and make another play in time before the ball game is over. So it looks like the Lee Rebels tenaciously hanging on to a 22-21 lead, have a very, very good chance of walking out of this stadium with that. And if they do, there is going to be an eruption on the far side of this stadium that you can't believe.
3rd and 6 from the 46. Up the middle. Stopped short of a first down, but just barely.
But that's going to bring up a 4th down. Now, they're not going to be in any hurry at all. The official has already marked the ball in play, however. And the clock is running on this, so the Lee Rebels are simply going to, I'm sure they'll let it run down as far as they can, take the penalty, and after they take the penalty, then they will have to punt the ball, and it's only going to be, I don't know, it's going to be less than 10 seconds left by the time they mark the ball.
And the Rebel fans enjoy watching that clock count down.
That's it, 8 seconds left in the football game. And that's where, that's how much time will be there when they punt the football. And it's almost at this point, Kurt, that Odessa Permian has got to run this football back on this kickoff. Unless they can get it and get it out of bounds in a very big hurry, they're not going to have time for another play. And they're not even going to put anybody back. They're simply going to try to block the punt. They feel like that's their only shot at this point, is to block that kick, and they're bringing 11 of them. And they don't get there. And the ball hits and bounces back, and they kill it on the 25-yard line.
There it is.
That's the end of the ball game.
Time has run out, and the Lee Rebels have upset the Permian Panthers.
For the 3rd year in a row, the Midland Lee Rebels dominate this series.
The final has the Rebels on top by 1 point, 22-21. Stay tuned. We'll head down to the sidelines and talk with our players of the game from the Rebels and the Panthers. Again, our final score has Lee winning at 22-21. This is the JR Productions Sports Special.
Okay, back here for the final wrap-up for Western National Bank and their player of the game. The University of Texas marching band is out on the field to give this crowd a special treat tonight. And down on the track is Kurt Kaiser with the Midland Lee Rebel players of the game for Western National Bank. Kurt?
All right, Don, some happy Rebels with me right now. Quincy White, Michael Pearson, offensive and defensive players of the night. Michael, what's this feeling like for you? Big win.
This feeling's great. We came out, we prepared ourselves really well, and you just can't explain in words what this feels like.
Well, you come in big underdogs against the Panthers, but you didn't play like underdogs. You played like you thought you could win it.
We knew we had to come into the game and play way over our heads to win this ball game. We had a chance, and we had 2 weeks to prepare for it. We took advantage of it.
Congratulations on a big win for you.
Thank you.
Quincy White on this side. Quincy, what's this win like for the Rebels?
Oh, this is great. It's just these close games we've been having just get to you. You just have to pull together and just do it. Just all pull together and work as a team.
What about that play right before the half, the long pass play? You take it into the end zone. How much importance you put on that play as far as the way you guys were able to win it?
Amazing. I didn't know what to do. I was just, I don't know, just up to it. You know, when you come down to things like this, you just gotta just pull together and just do it.
Well, Quincy, congratulations. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, Quincy White, our offensive player of the night. Michael Pearson, defensive player of the night. Back to talk with the Panther players in a moment after this word from Western National Bank. Thanks, guys. Back at Ratliff Stadium as we talk it over with our Permian Panther offensive and defensive players of the night. As you hear the Longhorn band in the background, Chris Comer on offense, Ivory Christian on defense. We'll talk first with Chris. Chris, a disappointing loss for the Panthers tonight. Tell me about the ball game and where you feel like the Panthers kind of let down a little.
Well, mostly we had a bunch of penalties. That's what really got us down. And their offense, they controlled the ball. They had the ball more long than we had it, so that's why.
The Rebel team playing very, very intense. You came in big underdogs, or big favorites, I should say. The Rebels didn't play like they're underdogs. They played you tough, didn't they?
Yes, they did. They were keying on me every play. They're a good football team, but, you know, I got to walk away with my head up.
All right. Well, good luck, or congratulations on a good game, and better luck next week.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Chris Comer, offensive player of the night. Ivory Christian, our defensive player, one of the Panther captains. Ivory, put this in perspective for us now. Your team came in heavy favorites. You lose to Lee, but you played a tough ball game against them.
Yeah, I feel that we played the best that we could have played as a unit, but we're kind of disappointed, but it's all in the learning aspect. It's part of football. You win some, you lose some.
Now, Ivory, right before the half, the Rebels have the long pass.